your background is so interesting to me because of where your PhDs lie, and in the realm of human behavior. Can you talk a little bit about that, how that's important with goal setting, with things like locus of control, people accepting, their successes and failures, that type of thing?
Yeah, so something that I find really interesting is that all of the things I sort of learned about human behavior with respect to learning or change or goal setting applies perfectly to diet and training. So one of the biggest things that they've shown in the literature for any kind of change, it's just like across all possible life changes you can make, is that if the individual is making the change because they want to be perceived differently, or because someone else wants them to make the change, or because they think they're supposed to, their likelihood of failure is infinitely higher. So before you decide your goal, a good thing to do, and it sounds kind of silly and fuzzy, is to look inside and really think about is this something that I want for me? Why am I actually doing this? What do I actually want? And when you identify the thing that you want for you, and not because you want people to see you a certain way or you think you'll be more respected, just that you want, your likelihood of success is a lot higher. So a lot of people at least I get clients who aren't sure if they want to gain muscle or lose fat or get stronger or just look better, and they just don't know. They have all of these sort of conflicting goals floating around. It's hard to chase that many conflicting goals because there's different processes for each one. So really identifying the thing that you want, one single individual thing at a time, and working towards it can improve your chances of success. And in terms of internal, external locus of control, it's sort of related. If every failure you have, you blame on yourself, that means you also get to claim every success. So a lot of people will go into a diet, and every time there's an obstacle, they'll tell you what happened and how they couldn't follow the diet because of it. Whereas someone with an internal locus of control will say, I made a mistake. When I traveled, I didn't pack food. I didn't look up restaurants. I didn't get, an Airbnb or a hotel that had a refrigerator and a stove so that I could continue on my diet. I need to fix this next time. Then it's a one-time mistake, and they get better every time. So that's another thing I think that contributes really highly to success. A third thing,
No. You're rolling.
A third thing I think is social support has been shown to tremendously improve people's chances of success. And I think a lot of people who are dieting in particular don't like to tell people they're on a diet. They're afraid they're going to fail. They're afraid they'll be judged. They don't want to seem like that girl who just eats salads, especially for the women. The guys maybe even more. They don't want to be that guy. But telling people what you're doing and asking for their support is something that can really make the chances of doing well improve.
Can you shift? You can shift people from, let's say you have a client who is in that mindset of, woe is me. It's right. Excuse. Everything is external. What are your strategies as a coach to start to chip away? Do you take you just throw them a 3-page email of this is why you're fucking up, and get your shit together, and this, or do you chip away at it over time, and do you have specific strategies at that, or is it just kind of a patience thing?
Yeah, I think you chip away at it because you don't want someone who's already sort of woe is being, and you just sort of crap all over them. They tend to just want to give up. So I think one thing is a psychological strategy called intention implementation. So you can teach them these sort of if-then phrases. So if I have to travel, I will plan for it and pack food. If I go to my mother-in-law's house, I will tell her I'm on a diet and I will bring my food. This kind of thing, so that give them a strategy to correct, and then also point out to them, I see you're blaming this on, the work dinner, but let's talk about what you could have done to minimize the impact instead of, going all out on the buffet and having 4 margaritas. What could you have done differently to minimize, if not eliminate, the impact? So start with minimize, get to eliminate later.
So I love that. Your strategy is if they're giving you excuses, you as a coach can use that as an opportunity to educate. It's like that excuse can be flipped right back into an if-then statement, and now it's into a strategy for success.
Right.
And would you say it's also safe as a coach, clinician, whatever, to be ready to repeat yourself ad nauseum and as if it's the first time you said it? So like that if-then statement is awesome. And it's going to be a great solution, but be ready to repeat it over and over and over and over again.
Absolutely. I think like reading a scientific paper, you don't get it the first time through. They're not going to get a whole like psychological life-changing strategy the first time through. So if they continually hear ways that they could have avoided the catastrophe that they're presenting to you as impossible, then eventually I think for most people it gets through and they start trying to structure their perception of those events around that improved sort of idea.